Hey guys, what's going on? So I am here to talk about Knight Statue talents. Recently I got my Knight Statue to 14, and I planned on booking it to 15. I might still end up doing that. I haven't made like a final decision, but I am upgrading my Inquisitor right now. I'm gonna like naturally upgrade it to 13. I have like 2 out of 3 books on Knight Statue, so I think I'm going to not book it. Actually, I think that was my final decision. My final decision was to not book it and to just eventually naturally upgrade this to 15. But I wanted to talk about the different sides of the talents and how you kind of play the two. This is obviously going to be like somewhat of a long video, and you probably already can see that. And that's only because of the gameplay. I'm not going to show full gameplay because that's not really the point of Knight Statue. Once you understand how it works, you should be able to understand that that's how it works. The original version of a Knight Statue deck, like a Blade Dancer Knight Statue deck, that became like the standard. And the reason why, like, I'm going to go through like a history of Knight Statue so I can catch you up. So the reason why Knight Statue started becoming a thing was specifically because of Blade Dancer. Blade Dancer in its original form, you had to have no Blade Dancer could be next to another Blade Dancer because then they would shut off and start attacking really slow. Currently, in the current version, if you have either talent, the 9 for 9, if you have the Floral Frenzy talent or if you have the Blooming Dash talent, you can activate Blade Dancers and they can actually be touching or next to each other. I have a video, it's a short that I did a long time ago, and it's titled The Most Unhinged Blade Dancer Setup, where I basically set up my entire board monk style, but with Blade Dancers and Floral Frenzy, and it totally works. And it's not good, but it totally works, and you can do it. Blade Dancer pre-9, if you have no talents, the reason why Knight Statue is so good is because you have those empty spaces in between Blade Dancer, and the way that Knight Statue works is everything around it becomes stronger, right? And so, in its original form, that became the quote-unquote Blade Dancer deck. And so, if you're running it that way, the thing that you run is Covenant, Roll Call, and then Hold the Line. I'll talk about the other talents in a second, but Covenant of Veterans, it increases its neighbor's damage by 8%, there's a difference, 0.8%. Every merge and increase in merge rank next to the Knight Statue increases the bonus. So once you have all of the your entire setup, the thing that you want to do is not level up everything around it, because every level up around it is going to give you a 0.8% bonus. But that is obviously dependent on you upgrading next to the Knight Statue. So what I'm trying to say is, if you have a Knight Statue setup and there is a maximum, because even if you set up the Knight Statue and everything around it is level 1s, like all 4 things around it are level 1s, it can only gain stacks, these 0.8% stacks, every time you upgrade something around it. So once everything around it becomes a 7, there's not really anything that you can do after that, and there's no way to obtain more stacks. Which means that if they shaman you, or if you get Red Guide, that's almost a bonus if you can upgrade again, right? Because then you're getting more stacks. And that's the only real way to get more stacks. You could, theoretically, like upgrade next to it and then, kind of like growth tile it. You could like upgrade next to it and then scrapper it and then scrapper away and then upgrade next to it and then scrapper away, right? You could do that to build up stacks, but that's not really what the Blade Dancer deck is trying to do. You're trying to like set up a board and then just like get everything to 7 and you're done, right? And you just want to sit there. So there is kind of a cap, even though that cap is not really necessarily a cap. It just doesn't have the ability to upgrade very easily. Once you get to everything is a 7 around it, right? Unless you want to do like the growth style kind of deal with it. Roll Call is the next thing that you're going to want to do. Again, this is all based on early setup. The way that Roll Call works is when one Knight Statue gets a bonus, charge, the other knight statues have a 15% chance of receiving a bonus as well. This is actually going to stack a lot better with Sharpened Spear. I'll go into that in a second. The way that this works is when you have multiple knight statues on a field, and this obviously only works when you have multiple knight statues on a field, when one gets a stack, the other one has a 15% chance. The others have a 15% chance of also getting a stack. So basically what you want to do is get your knight statues into position on the field and then start upgrading around. Because then you'll be able to theoretically get double bonuses. So you could level up one on one side and get a bonus on the other, and then you can level up one on the other side and get a bonus on the other. This is going to go crazy with Sharpened Spear, but it's still reasonably well with Covenant of Veterans. And then for the last one, I wouldn't use Stone Legion unless you were using multiples, as in more than 2. Again, this is a Sharpened Spear kind of talent, because I've done the math. I did the math, and you're getting a 0.7% on Stone Legion for each merge rank of statues on the battlefield. If you run 2 knight statues, again, for a Blade Dancer deck, if you're running just the 2 knight statues, you're getting, I believe, a 9.8% if they're both at level 7. With Hold the Line, if all of the knight statues' neighbors are the same, and that includes if there's only one thing touching a knight statue, like let's say it's in a corner, you only have the 2 options. If only one thing is touching it, that thing gets a 10%. If 2 things are touching it, and the other thing is not a knight statue, if the other thing is not the same unit, that's when the bonus goes away. So yes, you can have just the one, but once another thing is touching the knight statue, if it's not the same, then the bonus goes away. Which means that with a Blade Dancer deck, because you're usually setting it up in the middles, you have to have they have to all be the same thing. So if you have 2 or if you have 3, and then the last thing in the last position is a scrapper, you're not going to get the bonus. If you move the scrapper away, you will get the bonus. And if you get that 4th one, it's not like a bigger bonus. You'll still just get the 10%. So it's a flat critical damage of 10%. It's not amazing, but it is something. And I obviously don't have the Soul of the Warrior talent, so I'm going to be showcasing this obviously without that. I'm going to pause the video and jump into a regular one of my battles. I lost both of these battles, by the way, and in case you were wondering what my maximum amount of damage that I can deal is, I don't know why people always ask for that, but people always ask for that. Apparently it's this, because I think I played both of these games pretty well, and with there we go. And with the Covenant of Veteran talent, I was able to get 4.7, and then with the Sharpened Spear talent, which again I will talk about in a second, I got 4.5. Both of these decks didn't have any way of affecting my field, so I was able to output as much damage as I possibly could, and then just see how far that I could last, because that's one of the factors. Like if your opponent is running Shaman, or if your opponent is running like Sharpshooter or something, or if you're running Sharpshooter or if you're running Shaman, that affects the amount of the potential damage that your deck can do. But neither of us were running anything that affects our opponent, and so this was purely a damage race, and this is where I died at. So I'm going to pause the video and then speed up this video and then jump into a battle with this one, with Covenant Veterans, roll call, and then hold the line. So I have my 2 knight statues set up here. And this is, you want to be really early in the game when you get your 2 knight statues. It's why I have the Harlequin as opposed to something probably better. The better version would be a lot riskier. You kind of have to have the Dryad. You kind of have to have the Scrapper. obviously Blade Dancer and Night Statue, which means you have one equipment spot, one support spot, and your support spot is Harlequin will make your early game much easier. Because you can Harlequin Dryads to make all of your Blade Dancers better earlier. You can Harlequin Blade Dancers in order to when you have them in spots, so you don't have to run a Portal Keeper. And you can also Harlequin Night Statues for that exact same reason as well. This is the earliest that I could possibly set up, and it's still like reasonably slow. And the reason why I don't have my level 15 gadget is because the Elegant Parry talent is not effective. It's not... some people run Mermaid and Elegant Parry. I chose to just run Mermaid. I want to say that even though Mermaid it takes longer for you to get bubbles, it is more effective than the Elegant Parry's random... sometimes it kind of works, sometimes it doesn't. There could be an argument that you could run both, but I decided to run Fencing because I'm also not running a second support. I'm running the Harlequin. But yeah, this is the Covenant of Veteran is basically the single setup that you want to use. Obviously, I need to get rid of this level 3 Blade Dancer in the corner here, and then I lucked out with that level 2, merging the 2 level 1s, and then getting the level 2 Scrapper. And yeah, this is basically all you do. It's the regular setup. There's not a lot of variance to it. It's kind of boring, because that's all you're doing. You're just waiting for everything to level up. You don't really have a lot of control over what happens. There's no reason why I would want to get rid of the one next to it. Like, I can eat a level 2, right? And then merge it away, and then, get a new level 1 on it, and then merge that, and then, or level that up, and then I would get 1 stack on a Night Statue, and I just don't feel like it's worth it. So eventually I just ended up playing this just straight through. That's kind of how you run Covenant of Veteran. It's just a better version of what it used to be. But you have to understand that every deck uses this or has the ability to use this, and so even though it is better, Night Statue is better than what it used to be, it's not going to push you into higher realms because everybody has it. I feel like a lot of people, and this is something that I will always bring up, a lot of people thought that Night Statue was going to bring Blade Dancer into the meta, and it's simply not true, because every deck has the ability to have Night Statue, and every deck has the ability to be better now. When you input a card, it has to be a card that only that deck specifically uses, because if you're upgrading a card with talents that every deck can use, then it's not going to give the other deck a benefit. For example, if I was running a Wind Archer deck with this exact setup, it's not going to all of a sudden put Wind Archer into the meta just because Night Statue has talents now, and because my deck used this. Because Blade Dancer uses this, and now Blade Dancer is just better than Wind Archer, so Blade Dancer would still win over Wind Archer. It doesn't make Wind Archer better than a Blade Dancer deck, because Blade Dancer already does that, right? And in fact, people have realized that Night Statue actually works better, specifically better, in an Inquisitor deck. Because Inquisitor is all based on attack speed. The faster that it can attack, the more damage it deals. And Blade Dancer is just a basic unit that does just does damage. It doesn't have anything. It doesn't have any inherent property that makes it unique anymore. And that's why Blade Dancer is not a meta thing. Even Cultist has spread damage, and it has, like, Harbinger of the Abyss, if you decide to run that kind of thing. Blade Dancer has fast attack speed, but everything has fast attack speed. Like Inquisitor has fast attack speed, Tesla has fast attack speed. It's the reason why Blade Dancer is not in the meta. And so even though this used to be like very much so the Blade Dancer deck, the reason why it doesn't have that much of a bonus with Night Statue is because it's just a basic unit that now has faster attack speed and crit chance, but every deck has the ability to have a Night Statue to get faster attack speed and crit chance. But yeah, this is basically the setup that you would use. It's not interesting at all. You're just kind of sitting there and trying to upgrade your stuff. Obviously, eventually I lose this, so I'm going to move on to Sharpened Spear. Because Sharpened Spear, I feel like it's a little bit more interesting than this. So the way that Sharpened Spear works... Oh my god. The way that Sharpened Spear works, it works on intersections. So you can actually have just the one Night Statue on the field, because it is active as long as... If you think about how Monk works, the intersection Monk that's in the middle... it powers up everything up, down, left, and right to it. And the way that it doesn't, it becomes non-active is if another Night Statue is on its intersection. But the only way to upgrade the Sharpened Spear as opposed to Covenant of Veteran, you're upgrading things next to it. The way that Sharpened Spear activates or upgrades 0.8%, is a little bit better than Night Statue, and when I realized how it worked, I started kind of trying to go crazy with it. I could have actually done better in this game. I'll show it to you in a second, but you have to understand how this works. The only way that you get better, or you are able to increase the charges, is if a Night Statue appears on its intersection, and that's when it summons in. So that also includes Harlequinning. It does not include moving with a Portal Keeper. So it's only the one time, it's only when it summons in. But if you happen to summon in a Night Statue on the intersection that it currently is on, it gets a charge. Or if you have a Harlequin that's already on the intersection and you copy the Night Statue, it gets another charge. This means that if you set up 3 Night Statues diagonally, you can actually power up your entire field, because it's on every line, and you can actually have 3 Night Statues on the field that power up your entire field. If you have 3 Night Statues on the field, roll call becomes much, much better, because every time one Night Statue is summoning into the field or you're Harlequinning it, every single other Night Statue also has the ability to get a charge. You can build up charges much faster on a Sharpened Spear than you can on a Covenant of Veteran that basically has a cap. I still wouldn't use Barrier, because in no reality have I ever feared that my Night Statue was going to get downgraded. It's because you're running Scrapper, you're constantly just feeding it. You're making a Night Statue grow and grow and grow, and especially since you have Dryads, you have the ability to save them even if they go down to 1s. If anything, that gives you a reason to use your Dryads, your level 1 Dryads, and then. In this case, you're probably going to run Stone Legion, because, like I said before, it's 0.7% for each merge rank of statues on the battlefield, but because you're running more than 2, potentially, you could get more than 3. You could potentially get more than 3, or you can potentially get more than 10%. That's what I meant, because you're running 3. So I'm going to show you a battle here, and then you'll understand how Sharpened Spear works. I believe it's this other one. All of my other talents are the same. I'm running Sharpened Spear, Roll Call, and then Stone Legion. And then this will give you a this will make you understand how this works. I'm going to pause this and start this video again when I get the 3 knight statues. Okay, so right here I have the 3 knight statues. I have them on diagonals. And right here I summon in a knight statue here. And this is the moment that I realize, wait a second, if I Harlequin it, can I get another one? And yes. So then I copy it, and then I get another one, and then another one, and then I can copy that one, and then eat that one, and then eat that one, and do it again. My mistake was not keeping a level 1 knight statue, because now a level 2, whenever I summon in a Harlequin, is actually really difficult. I tried to get another one, because then I could copy that one. This is what I end up doing. I just upgrade that one. I can eat that one. And then I'm, again, hoping for a knight statues that I can copy that. Copy that. I should have actually copied the other one, but that's fine because I got the Dryad there. And as you can see, you can probably replay this video. When one of them is getting a charge, the other ones are also theoretically getting charges as well. And that's why this has the ability to stack much more much better than a regular Covenant of Veterans. I think it's much more interesting gameplay. I think because there is a way for you to get them better in stacks. I think that this creates more interesting, more involved gameplay than just playing a regular Covenant of Veterans. Because if you're going to play regular Covenant of Veterans, I would just recommend playing Inquisitor, which is what he's doing. Because essentially what the Inquisitor deck wants to do is just make everything a 7, and then you just win. Your attack speed is insane. You're getting higher attack speed with the tiles. It has the ability to self-cleanse, Inquisitor does, and so your cleansing is better, which allows you to run J or Gadget. I was told by one of my followers, Smallshamer, that the reason why he's running J is because if he runs into a toxic deck, like a robot deck, or the robot shaman, or the main toxic deck, which is the Necromancer Shaman Frost deck, or like some variation of that. The early game on an Inquisitor deck is really bad, and you could technically get locked out if you decide to run Gadget. Whereas even if you get locked out, you can use J to obtain mana and then get yourself back into the game. But it also serves the double purpose of, if you get an Inquisitor on a speed tile, on a knight statue, you're just attacking for just like infinite speed, which is again why it works so well in the Inquisitor deck. But I do think that this is interesting. Like right here, I'm able to copy the knight statue to give myself better stacks. I think that if I were to play this again, I would obviously try to keep one knight statue low level. I guess that's counterintuitive because you want to level them up so that they become stronger. But then you also want to give them stacks. I don't know. It's interesting. It's interesting, like how, like the push and pull of running Sharpened Spear. I think the idea that you can run one knight statue is really interesting. It's really confusing on paper, and if you want to go back to my in my video when I was first reading Knight Statue Talents, I did not understand Sharpened Spear at all. But yeah, you can actually run just the one Knight Statue, and I think that that's interesting. Just inherently, I think that's interesting. I think that's interesting that you can actually run 3 in order to get your entire field a bonus. So if I were to have, because normally in this setup, there's 2 Blade Dancers that you aren't giving a bonus to with the regular Knight Statue. With this, you are. So you could also be taking advantage of that. I also like the idea that every single Night Statue summon-in is not a wasted summon-in, because you're able to get stacks. And then that stack is theoretically giving everything else stacks as well. I don't know. It's interesting. I think that a max Night Statue is obviously better because now the Night Statue is attacking, and it's also giving you 10% defense down, or it does an area attack and it gives them 10% defense down, I believe. And so obviously you're going to be able to push a little bit harder, but I don't think that Night Statue is... I think Sharpened Spear is the much more interesting version of Night Statue, but if you're running Covenant of Veterans, I think you might as well just run Inquisitor, because that is the best usage of Night Statue. And I think if you're not running Inquisitor, I think you're doing a disservice to just using Night Statue. If you're just using Night Statue as a basic equipment, it's fine, but it's not where it excels. It excels in the Inquisitor deck. Sharpened Spear can theoretically excel in any deck. I think it's much more versatile than Covenant. But if you're using it just to run Covenant, use Inquisitor, because in like my previous example of using Wind Archer and using using this setup, but using Wind Archer as your DPS, but Blade Dancer is better. I'm saying that, you know, you could use this in a Blade Dancer deck, but Inquisitor is better, because it's actually using the attack speed and the crit chance for a reason, not just to make it more powerful, because it will not be more powerful than Inquisitor. But yeah, I think that Sharpened Spear is pretty good. And if I had to say anything positive about Night Statue, it would be that Sharpened Spear is the much better side, and it's the much more versatile way of using Night Statue. But yeah, I'll talk to you guys next video.